we will be talking about a brand new book from Cambridge University Press, Cambridge Assessment English, and the Linguist Publishing House. This is Super Minds Ukrainian Edition, and the name of our webinar is New Ways of Teaching at Grade 1. So this is the new book we will be presenting today, and we will, of course, talk a little bit about how we teach young learners and what's new. The agenda for today: teaching young learners, teaching remotely, and teaching with Super Minds Ukrainian Edition. So, about teaching young learners. My question would be, what do we really teach? Type that in the chat, the titles for each picture you see below. Any title that comes to your mind, kind of answering this question. Okay, I've got communication, I've got greetings. That's exactly what it is, greetings. Etiquette, okay. Trying to start a conversation, great. Thank you. Okay, you keep thinking about it. I'm putting up the picture 2. What do you see in the second picture? Okay, I see listening, emotions. Any other ideas? Conversation, communication, speaking. Okay, great. Thank you very much. And the third picture. What kind of title would you give to this picture? Okay, I see thinking, critical thinking, thoughts. That's exactly what it is. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. So I put these 3 pictures to think of what do we really teach during the English lessons. And if we look at the first picture, we can see a child all made of letters and some signs, and having a lot of greetings in his head or her head, you never know. So there are a lot of letters and some words. Yeah, so I put this picture for teaching language. So the second one, I put this picture for teaching communication, and the last one for teaching thinking. What is Super Minds, the Ukrainian edition, about? It's the combination of all of them, with the biggest focus on thinking skills, because this is something we need to start with when we start teaching children, because starting from the thinking skills and learning to learn possibilities, learning to learn skills, students start their journey. It's not the language that we need to teach them in the first grade, really. Yeah, we teach them how to think. We teach them how to learn this language. We actually play games and model real life situations, real life games. Yeah, because real life of 6-year-olds is games. So we model their real life situations just using English language. And what we really need to teach our students is the soft skills, someone said that, or life competencies, or whatever we call it these days, 21st century competencies, because we can't imagine what kind of future is coming up, and today's present is something absolutely different from what our students will experience in future, as well as we did. Yeah, our present was completely different from what we have now. And what we need to prepare our students for is how to think fast and how to learn new things. This is the main. That's why I call this webinar the new ways of teaching in the first grade. If previously, 5 years ago, when we started the new Ukrainian school concept and started reforming the school system, the main idea was working on life competencies. Today, I will suggest you to move the focus a little bit from life competencies to thinking skills, but we will call them cognitive control functions. This is something new that the new book is working on, cognitive control functions. So, if we come back to the life competencies, sorry. We have pre-primary, primary, secondary, higher education, and at work stages. And there are brochures that you can easily download to look through how these competencies work on each stage. And the young learners, all of them are actually updated, really highly updated. So you should have a look if the last time you look at them was even a year ago. They update the life competencies framework every year. So please have a look. I will show you the link later. And as of now, I will ask you to name these life competencies again. Type in the chat. There is the description, and I will ask you to name what competency this each statement stands for. Okay, I will repeat the task. I will ask you to type in the chat. Okay, we've got the first one. Thank you. Means you heard me. I will give you a minute. Okay, the minute is almost gone. I guess I will wait until Irina Redko sends 6 and 7, and I will show you all of them. All right, not to take all of your time, let's have a look. So these are 6 life competencies and one of the foundation levels, which is emotional development. It's not a life competency, it's a foundation level. And yeah, I really need you to remember that language is not a life competency. Any subject is not a life competency. It's just the basis on which we build these life competencies among our students. So we have creative thinking, critical thinking, learning to learn, communication, collaboration, and social responsibilities. The most important skills in the first grade, well, actually all of them, but the first ones to teach would be thinking skills throughout the whole course, learning to learn at the very beginning of the course, and the rest of them again during the course. Why? Because thinking skills, because learning to learn, we set the rules at the very beginning. We set the rules of classroom management at the very beginning. From there, students understand how they communicate, how they collaborate, how they create, and they take responsibility. They're kind of social responsibility, yeah, for the good emotional atmosphere in the classroom. But why thinking skills? Because to do all that, they need to think, of course, and also because to learn the language, they first need to direct their thinking into the way that where we both meet our teaching purpose and their students' desire to play games. Okay, let's have a look at how the framework works, really. So it describes what is critical thinking, not just critical thinking. It describes each life competency, which falls into several core areas. Then it shows components of each area, examples of can-do statements, and example language that students use to show how they're good or need improvement in each area. So if, for example, student says, "I don't think so," it means that the students evaluates ideas and arguments in terms of critical thinking, right? So Then in the same brochure, so you can see here, core areas, components, example statements, and so on. In the same brochure, you will find how it works in the classroom, how to develop critical thinking in the classroom, and some examples of tasks that you might use to develop students' critical thinking. Now, all this can be found at cambridge.org/CLCF. Okay, you can make a screenshot right now, and that's where you can download all the brochures for all the stages of learning, which is young learners and preschoolers as well. They go together, teenagers and adults. You will also find some useful things to check yourself at work. So please download these. There are also brochures with all the separate skills, and also there are activity cards that will give you a lot of tasks to develop each life competency during the lesson together with your course book. Now, when we think about teaching remotely, because this is the reality of today, and you never know when this reality, maybe this is the reality of the future, yeah, because we've been like that for 2 years already, and now the 3rd year is coming, so hopefully it will end soon, but we need to prepare to the fact that actually, remote learning became a huge part of learning process, and it will stay like that. And it's actually comfortable, and we need to still remember how to keep this process going. Very important for the 1st grade students to communicate with the parents of the students, of course, make a list of items for the lesson that your student might need, give it to the parents. Keep the course book there, tell your parents where the link to the course book is, and so on. Ask parents to prepare all the stationery for the lesson, and it actually goes before each lesson. For example, one lesson they need colorful pencils, another one they don't. Some toys would be good to have during the whole course. You will see later why. And keep the links to all the online resources in one place where your parents can go anytime. Make sure to prepare the link to the online session if you are having live lessons. If you're having live lessons, use screen sharing, of course, as we are doing right now in this Zoom session. Give instructions, and give instructions in little chunks. Set the tasks properly, and maybe before the lesson, and maybe even to the parents, so they explain how these tasks work to their children. And yeah, it all sounds very, very time-consuming, but once you do it several times, then your students learn how to learn and do it on their own. Presenting grammar and vocabulary goes again through screen sharing. Sharing stories and songs also works well with screen sharing. And board work can also be done on screen, on the whiteboard you have in Zoom, or you can use later on, not maybe with the 1st graders, but already in the 2nd graders. In the 2nd grade, you can use different types of simultaneous story sharing or comment sharing on brainstorming tools like Miro, for example, Miro.com, a really great tool to share ideas. Making up games for your language topics. For example, yeah, this one for clothes, taken from one of the lessons. So you can easily make it using Microsoft presentations, PowerPoint presentations. How it's done? Yeah, so it's look at the picture, say the word, and match the word with the word in your book, for example. And here I'm turning socks, where they are. Yeah, point at the picture of socks in your book or on the screen. We point on the socks. Correct. Yeah, socks moving. Then jacket, where is jacket here? And it's moving, and so on. Sweater moving, t-shirt moving, and there it goes. So you can easily make these games using PowerPoint presentation animations. It does take time. That's why there are lots of video lessons that you can use together with the book, or take them from there already. Now, using chat box should be done for reactions. At the beginning of the lesson, at the checking concepts and checking instructions point, and closing the lesson, and of course feedback. Yeah, the worst question we can ask, did you understand? And then we will have whatever in the chat. So be specific when you are asking questions. For example, I never ask you to say hello. I always ask you during these webinars to say, where are you from? So it's personalized, and you are really happy to tell where you're from, and I'm always happy to tell where I'm at this moment, and it already builds a little connection. So be specific. For example, every time when students already have some language, ask them different questions, like, what color is your t-shirt today? What did you have for breakfast today? Yeah, and you see all the names, and you can check in this way. You can check who is here, who is involved, and they will be happy to share some information about them. Changing these questions adds challenge and, of course, keeps students motivated. Yeah, at the beginning of the lesson, if you are using the full screen and you need everyone to be there with the video, you can have this thing. You say hocus pocus, and students have to do this. Everybody focus. Yeah, something like a simple thing, but you can see that they move, because in Zoom simultaneous speaking never works, but they need to do something. Then Simon Says, favorite Zoom game, which you can use anytime. Simon Says, touch your nose. Yeah, and everybody does it. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. And for example, students need to get closer to the screen. Then eyes on door, feet on floor, hands behind your back, and say no more. It's quite a totalitarian thing, but anyways, eyes on the door, find the door in the room. Then feet on the floor, look at your feet, hands behind your back. Yeah, show the hands and put it behind your back, for example, or hands behind your head, or hands on your forehead, whatever. So make sure you use attention getters in Zoom. Pair work, sometimes it can be done in the breakout rooms, but maybe not with the first graders. So looks like we need someone to talk to our first graders in their room, and they can use their favorite toys to do something in pairs, and then all together in the online version of the lessons. And storytelling always works well with the remote studying. It gets students interested. If you create a proper atmosphere, get in touch with your inner actor. If you slow down, if you're active and go beyond basic comprehension. And you can create your own stories with the students using some story grid. So, for example, my favorite example is about the king and the dragon, asking questions. Asking questions maybe that don't always make this story, yeah? And depending on the level, you change these questions from what color is a dragon? And students go all creative with all the colors. What does he like? Up to the questions like continue the sentence. Yeah, the dragon is sad today, so, or why is the dragon sad? What happened? Yeah, again, depending on the level, you can make this story for first graders up to the adults. Always fun. And you can actually tell this story asking students to fill in the gaps. Yeah, for example, there is a dragon on a tree. What color is a dragon? And they say green, blah blah blah, blue, red. Okay, then there is a green dragon on a tree. There is a king under the tree. The king reads every day, and his favorite story is, yeah, and then you ask students to tell what is their his favorite story. Of course, they will tell their own favorite story. And then the dragon comes here every day because it's an already advanced level why the dragon comes here. Students fantasize, but then they realize that the dragon doesn't read, he doesn't know how to read, he didn't go to school. That's why he comes every day to hear the new story. And finally, the dragon decides to go to school. Whatever, you can come up with your own story, and you can ask students to make their own story that looks like that and share it with the class. Now, remember about classroom management. It's really important to move. So TPR, nonverbal reactions, and time limits, of course. For TPR, use whatever students can have at this moment. Who is wearing red socks? Yeah, and they all look at their socks. Not me. Who is wearing orange t-shirt? Okay, not me. I'm wearing, I can't show you, I'm wearing the red t-shirt, and so on. So ask questions that would be personalized and that would involve what they have in real time. And for homework, try to give them something creative, like make their own personal set of flashcards that you can actually use during the whole 8 lessons that the unit lasts. And you can use it for the next lesson, yeah, with some different tasks. For example, show me the t-shirt, and students go find the flashcard that they made and show you the t-shirt. Use activity books, and parents or older siblings might help your students with their homework, of course. Teaching with Super Minds Ukrainian Edition. I already mentioned the cognitive control functions. This is what the new edition looks like. It's really beautiful. And it's a little bit easier than it was for Quick Minds. It's quite easier because we had some feedback that it's difficult for students to start reading, and so we improved a lot. Now I will ask you to type in the chat, what is the biggest challenge in teaching young learners? Keeping attention, writing. Keeping attention, yeah. Yeah, attention and concentration are really the biggest challenges, and this is about exactly cognitive control functions. We will have a little look at that. So, sorry. Successful language learning requires our learners to be in control of their own learning and of themselves. Yeah, so this we need to teach them how to make learning their own responsibility, first and foremost. The times when we were so responsible for our students have passed long ago. So now our main task as the teachers, first of all, not to teach them English, but to teach them how they can learn English autonomously, how else they can learn. We just facilitate our students, we help them on their way, but their learning is their responsibility. To do that, we need together to set the goals, organize learning over time, focus attention to be able to stay on task, adapt behavior in order to overcome challenges and reach the goals we set them at the very beginning. Now, children's cognitive control functions are about working memory. Working memory is the ability to hold information in mind so that certain tasks can be completed. Inhibitory control refers to the abilities to focus attention and control our emotional and behavioral responses. And cognitive flexibility is needed for solving problems and enables students to look at issues from different viewpoints, to think outside the box, and to adapt to changing conditions. Sorry. Okay, there are 3 cognitive control functions. I will now ask you to look at the tasks here and to put these tasks according to the function that they develop. We have 5 tasks and 3 functions. Think of it and type that in the chat. All right. Thank you, Svetlana, Natalia, Olga, Irina, both of you. Thank you very much. Let's have a look at the answers. So we have working memory. This is task 2. Yeah, because we need to together with critical thinking, right? Because this is a chart, we fill in the chart and we systemize our knowledge, but we are, it's working memory. Well, it might be also the long-term memory, but still, memory is involved in this task. Then we have cognitive control, inhibitory control in task 1 and 3, and we have cognitive flexibility in task 4 and 5. Why? Because students can create, and especially task 5 is super creative, and you can see that if we combine cognitive control functions together with the life skills, they are mostly connected. First of all, they are connected to thinking skills. Yeah, so we need attention rather than memory in task 1 and 3. Together with critical thinking again. We need memory in task 2 together with critical thinking, and we need outside of the box thinking and finding solutions together with creative thinking in task 4 and 5. Now, when we look at Super Minds Ukrainian Edition, which is based on the Super Minds second edition of Cambridge University Press, we will see that from the very beginning, we already have the cognitive control functions getting students' attentions, and it's presented in an opening illustration, which features Super Minds characters and sets the scene for the main story of the unit. Now, we can see here already that we listen, we see, and we need to repeat right away. So it's already cognitive control function, working memory. Then again, listen and chant, listen and point to the correct person. That's already inhibitory control, and draw your family. This is already the cognitive flexibility. Now, there is also a task, the big question. This is a new feature that gives a gradual introduction to inquiry-based learning. Each big question is directly related to the unit topic and is explored throughout the unit with further ideas for exploration available in the teacher's book. The question is, what's a family? Yeah, something to think of throughout the unit. So this would be the topic of the next 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how many lessons per week you have. Now, if you look at task 1 and 3, you will see this sign. The sign stands for reminding you that here we have this cognitive control functions in development. Now, there are still songs. Songs are, of course, updated. The task you already seen. Draw what you saw in the animated story. Draw it in your notebooks. So this is working memory work in progress, plus cognitive flexibility as well. And all these stories create one film for the whole year, and you will see that they are super updated. They don't look outdated anymore, because these are the new videos with great quality. There are also think and learn projects with clear sections. Like here, we learn about animal family, and Super Minds Ukrainian Edition is a very full of thinking course, critical and creative thinking, written by the renowned author, actually the whole team, Peter Lewis Jones, Herbert Puchta, and Günther Gerngross, still there, plus Svetlana Drobotenko from the side of Linguist Publishing House. It's the Super Minds series are used in more than 70 countries all over the world, and actually teachers, there was a poll among teachers, and they say that there is nothing they would like to change about this course except for the videos and maybe a little updates to the design. This is what we did, but also added the cognitive control functions methodology by Herbert Puchta. And it's adapted for all the new Ukrainian school requirements. What we've kept: characters and exciting stories, catchy songs and chants, engaging projects and activities, clear content and skill practice, comprehensive language syllabus, teach off the page simplicity, tried and tested unit structure. What's new? New design, fresh and updated content, brand new videos, and phonics book, the new book that will teach your students reading and pronunciation and the beginning of writing. Regarding the new design, you will see all the characters that you've seen before. There will be new illustrations, and we increased the use of photography, not to make this book too animated and cartoon-like, to show some real life to students. The workbook is already colorful, and you can see an example here. And all the instructions, all the tasks are translated, of course. Also, some examples of the workbook, colorful. Super Phonics book looks like this: writing, games, and remembering letters, plus pronunciation and reading. Fresh and updated content, you will see that there are new CLIL sections, brand new CLIL sections, much more convenient than they were before. And critical and creative thinking, again, stands in the focus of the book. You will see throughout the whole book that there are more creative projects and tasks in each unit. Yeah, so creativity goes through the model, through developing new games that students create on their own, new dishes, new clothes, new places, like here, make a map of your dreams. Yeah, creative thinking also develops through ideas, planning, research, or review. Critical thinking works through tables, charts, mind maps, and evaluating ideas and options. New video, let's have a little look.
Is this your mom?
Okay, so this video stands for the chants. Before we didn't have videos for chants. Now all the chants have videos. We will have a look at the animated story as well.
squirrel. Hello. What's your name? I'm Sammy. Hello.
So you can see the difference between this video and the previous videos of Quick Minds is quite big, and we did updated all this content. And in some of the videos you will see hugely beautiful backgrounds with all the details, and they are really exciting. And there is another type of videos.
Unit 3. An animal family. What is an animal family? Look at the dogs. Look at their babies. The cat is a mother. Meow. Look at all her babies.
Okay, that's enough. So different types of videos. There are also grammar videos presented by a funny creature named Greg, and you are free to look at those videos at our website, Publishing Linguist website. If you go to if you go to English language, choose the primary school, you will see Super Minds, and in Super Minds there is a section with additional resources. You will see there a sample of this book, and you will see the videos and audio for the book. Now, students' components will include students' book, activity book, and phonics book. Teachers' components, teachers' book, and publishing linguist resources. We are now talking about future, of course. Yeah, so this is the book that is coming soon. It's not there yet, but I will highly recommend to check out if you are going to work with your students in year 2023-2024. If you are going to have first grade students, please make sure to check this one out. Now, if you have any questions to me, we have 5 minutes left. I will be happy to answer. Will activity book be available? As of now, there is nothing available but what you can see on the website. Yeah, we're working on all of the components. This is work in progress. So I'm now only announcing that there will be this book. But yes, of course, there will be activity book available. There will be students book available for the next school year. So if you have any questions, you can type them in a chat. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining. There are not too many of us today. I think this is the first time I have such a little amount of people, but I'm really happy that you joined. Will it be cheaper or more expensive? I don't know. We don't have the prices yet. Yeah, I'm just announcing that there will be this book, but I think the price range will be quite the same. What about learning phonics letters, or is it just an acquaintance, not the developing? there will be phonics sections throughout the book. There will be phonics section at the end of the book, and we're making a separate phonics book which you can use to learn the letters and to teach your students reading. All right. Thank you very much again for joining, and I hope you will have a great weekend despite all the events of this week and upcoming weeks, unfortunately. Still, I hope you will have great weekend and you are a little bit more motivated after this webinar, because I definitely am. Thank you. Goodbye.